Hey everybody, it's great to be back, and you should all know me as the ProjectCoe.com Editor-in-Chief Justin Joseph, and I have the distinct pleasure of having a close friend here with me to do our second cooperative video review.
Hey guys, this is Ahmed Mosly. I'm glad you could join us for this long overdue co-op review. We're going to be actually talking about Star Ocean: The Last Hope for the Xbox 360, long overdue installment in this series. And I'm actually just going to go off and start about talking about the storyline first. It's a very interesting soap opera plot, and there are some pretty nice references to the first two Star Ocean games for fans. Characters are colorful, but you can notice stereotype or Mary Sue type characters at first, but they do eventually get better with as you move on in the game. Localization suffers a bit because I do feel that it's not written as well as the prequels. And it takes a while to become fully engrossed in the storyline. Finally, I think that the cutscenes, even though they do use the in-game engine quite well, they're not directed well. The cinematography is not as strong as I want from a next-gen game. Speaking of which, here's Justin that will further detail the visuals of the game.
Yeah, definitely, Ahmad. Star Ocean: The Last Hope is just a great-looking RPG that uses the 360's power pretty well. I mean, for one, the planets you explore are absolutely beautiful. I mean, you have your tropical landscape with Eos, there's a wilderness winter wonderland on Lemurus, and just so much more to take in. I mean, there's just lots of surprising detail all around, incredibly impressive stuff. I mean, even on the space stations that you encounter. And then when it comes to the characters, their outfits are ridiculously detailed and unique. I mean, I was just inspired by them. And on that note, good luck to anyone that tries to cosplay as these characters at any upcoming anime or video game conventions. Just, yeah, good luck with that. But other details, special effects when it comes to the battle, and a character's specials and symbols and skills. And then like Ahmad said with the cutscenes, they're not nearly as impressive as they could be, but they do respectively use the in-game engine. Although there are actually a couple FMV quality ones near the end of the game, but I just thought that the way they did that was a very wise decision, a very ballsy choice. And I commend them for that on Triace's part. But there are a handful of negatives, unfortunately. There's just tons and tons of object pop-in when you're exploring the planets. Some low-res shadows here and there, and some minor screen tear. Some of the environments are a bit repetitious, but it's sort of easy to look past that. But the enemy variety is kind of lacking. Triace mainly used palette swapping, just switching the colors around, and I kind of thought that we had moved past that by now with next-gen gaming. And when it comes to battle, the frame rate tends to take a bit of a hit when there's constant heavy action, which is kind of unfortunate, but not necessarily unexpected. And then finally, the battle animations are perfectly acceptable, which is good and everything, but when it comes to the actual facial animations with these characters, exchanging dialogue with one another, it more or less sucks, thanks to basic blinking and eyebrow raising, so that's pretty much it. And then when it comes to the gameplay, there's a lot to it. It's basically comprised of battle, item creation, and exploration. When it comes to battle, it's very familiar stuff for Star Ocean fans, and it can even be appealing to just action RPG enthusiasts in general. There can be up to 4 party members on the battlefield at any given time, but you actually only control one person at a time, but you can actually switch between them with either the left bumper or right bumper on the 360 controller. What appealed to me the most about the battle system are skill combos and the bonus board. With skill combos, you can actually potentially place up to 3 unique or different character skills on each of the given triggers with left and right, and actually link them together for some really fun times. Not to mention that giving out and taking damage eventually fills up a rage meter for each character, which actually eventually allows the opportunity for 2 party members to completely chain their techniques together for some seriously massive damage. And no, I'm not referring to Cat's Right with that. The bonus board is actually a new mechanic. It's actually a little board on the right-hand side of the screen, which has 14 different icons, and that's connected to 4 specific actions that you can carry out on the battlefield. Anytime you do one, a color actually fills up one of those icons, and those can actually give you a possible post-battle bonus, such as, HP/MP recovery for your party, so you can have a lot of fun with that. But unfortunately, there are a couple real bad quips to the battle system. For one, the camera is an absolute pain in the butt. I mean, the default perspective is at your side, rather than behind you, so you can't really see the enemies until you actually shift it after battle begins, and it sometimes doesn't even know where to actually put your view so that you can actually see what you're trying to hit. And then auto-targeting is also a real hassle. I mean, whenever you're controlling a character, you're supposed to attack your nearest enemy, which, makes sense, but it's just unfortunate that the system too often sends you in a completely different direction when you're ready to bust an attack on, like, an enemy that's, trying to really put a hurting on a friend of yours or something. So, it's more noticeable with the close-up fighters, but still, just was really annoying. And finally, we have item creation and exploration. With item creation, it's driven by a very user-friendly system with an interface that's on the Colonist, which is your main method of travel throughout the game. And it basically has you group available party members according to their creation ability statistics and whatnot, and then you simply press the start button and watch as any number of potential inventions pop up in the window above it. And it's really great that you not only immediately know the name of your creations, but the components that are required to make them, and there's really nothing else to it. But it actually wonderfully ties into the exploration element. Exploration is basically your best bet for not only finding item creation components, but also finding all the scattered treasure, which is, a staple for RPGs and Star Ocean, in addition to items that will help you fulfill side quests. And it's also very cool that you actually gain party experience and SP with everything that you find. It can be a little bit annoying to travel a wide distance for just one thing you might be looking for on one planet and then have to run all the way back to your ship. I mean, why couldn't you just beam back to it or something? It just didn't really make too much sense to me, but it's very fun overall.
Cool, Justin. Just before I get to the music, just want to add just a few things on your comments there. With the graphics, I really did like the mix-up of space and fantasy themes. It was extremely well done. The best in the series, actually, compared to the first two in my case. And with the gameplay, the battle system is much better than what was done on Star Ocean 3. It's faster paced, and there are a lot of errors in Star Ocean 3 that were refined here. And, the typical trademark stuff that Justin mentioned, like the character and item creation, micromanagement, these are actually much better refined in this game. It's really similar to what Game Freak did with the Pokemon series, a recent update on the DS compared to the Game Boy Advance one. Everything is organized and menu-based. It's just unfortunate that there's no overworld. I wish that they implemented that. Anyways, regarding the sound, I'm a huge fan of Motoi Sakuraba. He composed everything from the Tri-Ace games, including this series. Everybody knows that he uses a really heavy leitmotif, familiar themes. It's a double-edged sword, actually, but I do enjoy the fact that I recognize his music. He's one of the few that modernizes his music pretty well. His updated synthesized orchestral sounds sound pretty good in this day and age, and the live element added to the tracks really refines this game's soundtrack. Some of the stuff is extremely moody as usual. I do like the heavy bass and synthy dungeon music. Battle music will obviously melt your face off with electric guitars. Towns and open areas, they do sound really entrancing with the use of violins and flutes. The space-related music is epic. Awesome stuff with the Calnus and Eos themes. With voice acting, it's actually, I'm kind of disappointed because the performances aren't as strong as the PSP remakes. Occasional overacted line, and most of your main characters, they do actually get appealing as you progress through the game. Lemil is actually the only exception. The translation of the character is too literal from the Japanese version. She's very monotone and stuff like that. And the voice and the voices of the enemies are actually awful. With the replay value, you're getting a 40-hour main quest. But there are a lot of stuff to do outside of that, like, a lot of side quests, backtracking for treasure chests, items to create, hidden dungeon, and finally the trademark arena minigame. That's very addicting.
And you also can't forget about the achievements that are sort of tied into the whole completionist aspect of the game. You know, finding all those chests, completing all those side quests, and finding pretty much everything in the game will net you some very hard to earn achievements for your little gamer score there. So after this long-winded video review, I'll go ahead and quickly mention that I gave Star Ocean: The Last Hope for the Xbox 360 a clean 8.3 out of 10. So Ahmad, thanks for joining me, and to everyone watching, thanks for tuning in. I'm Justin Joseph from ProjectCoe.com, and we'll see you soon.